Neena Perez, and this is Straight Talk, No Sugar Added. I am so glad you are hanging with us today. Now, this show is created to discuss life topics to grow, challenge, and transform your thinking. Now, you know that I go around this amazing planet of ours, finding the best humans on it to come on here and discuss issues that help us grow and where we are going. I found one for y'all. I found one. Her name is Chauncey Pelzer, and she is a wife, a mom, and the founder of Defining Destiny Coaching and Consulting. And she helps women of color discover their light and create joy by finally taking time to focus on themselves. So I am so stoked that you are here. Chauncey, what's up? How are you?
I am doing well. Thank you so much for having me. I'm excited to be here.
I'm glad you're here. Now, I have massive energy. You're going to feel all this energy coming your way through the screen.
Bring it, girl. Bring it. We can do this.
I'm so glad you're here. So, this is what I love about my audience. So, I have a really great audience, and a lot of them are like CEOs and business owners, and a lot of leaders and things like that. And most of my audience, sorry guys, but it's true, most of my audience is 60% female. It's, I think you're going to be speaking right to your peeps. But guys, stick by. Don't you go nowhere. Don't you go nowhere. I hear you. I see you. I can see you through your car. I see you. All right. So, Chauncey, tell us a little bit more about you. The way I like to start the show is I always say, who are you? And I know that's a little question, but who are you, Chauncey?
Well, it's a little question, but it has a big answer. So I am
Right.
Chauncey Pelzer, as you said before, and I am a wife. I am a mother, but outside of that, I am a CEO. So and I'm a good girlfriend too. So basically, I try to help women who are in transition and want to understand more about themselves. They want to understand what is it really that they do
Mm,
well. I pretty much talk to them and help them to understand where they want to go next. So it just depends on what it is that they want to do. A lot of times people, when they first come to me, they're like, oh, I've done this and I've done this for 20 years and I want to do, and they're going right into the same stuff. And I'm like, but do you really want to do that? And they're like,
right.
yeah.
Right.
And so I'm like, okay, so tell me the real deal. Tell me what it is that you really want to do. And they may say, I
Yeah.
want to bake cakes, I want a bakery, or I want to do, so it just depends. But
Right.
I mean, there's a lot of ways I could probably describe myself. I am a lover of travel. I am a lover of reading. I'm a lover of really people and encouraging people. That's just me.
Mhm,
That's what I
mhm.
do. I'm always trying to find the bright side of a situation. Certainly for somebody else, it's easy to do that for somebody else, right? Outside of
That's
ourselves.
true.
So
That's true.
I'm an encourager. That's
Yeah.
who I am.
That's awesome. We all get into what we do, right? Because I'm a coach as well. So we always, I think, get into like coaching or therapy or anything like that, usually because of something we've gone through, right? Or something that we were lost in, and then we had to discover that for ourselves. Is that what happened to you? Like, were you at this place where you're like, I don't know what to do, and then you had to kind of learn what you wanted to do, so now you want to teach others? Is that what that's about?
And I'm trying to make sure I understood your question because it kind of faded in just a little
Oh,
bit.
I'm
So you're
sorry.
saying, how did I? That's okay. How did I want to get into coaching? Is that what you're asking?
Yeah, yeah, because a lot of times as we are
Mhm.
coaches, we feel like for me, for instance, I got into coaching women because I felt like I needed a coach in my life. I
Gotcha.
felt like I needed to find a way to build my business. And so that helped me come up with the tools I needed. Now I use that to help other people. And I was just wondering, like, maybe an obstacle or something you have gone through that's having you do this for other people.
Gotcha. Well, it's kind of twofold actually. So the first piece of it is people always used to come to me for advice, no matter what. And I didn't know why because I felt like at the different types of jobs I did corporate for 18 years, so sales, human resources, and when you're working those types of jobs, it's pretty much hard hitting. You got to go, you got to do what you got to do.
Mhm, mhm.
So everybody knows about coming into the 9 to 5 office work and just kind of getting it done. So I would notice that people would always come up to me all the time to my cube or my office, and they're saying, Chauncey, what do you think about this? And can you give me your opinion on that? And I'm like, why are they asking me so many questions? So I'm like,
Right.
typing at my computer, and I'm like, yeah. that doesn't make any sense. That boyfriend or whoever you're talking about, he's crazy. Get away from him. Okay. So you need to do this, this, and this. So I'm like,
Right.
giving them life tips, and I didn't even really realize it. And, furthermore, I'm thinking that's not my job. My job is to be doing what I'm doing. So I can't really. So the thing is, people never stop coming up to me, number one.
Mhm. Mhm.
Number two, and it doesn't matter how friendly or not friendly I made myself, they still came. So
Yeah.
that's number one. And
Right.
really all I was trying to do was get my work done. But number two is this: when I was helping people with resumes, I used to teach HR development at a community college, just, part time. And I noticed that whenever I help folks with their resumes, they always, always, always had a whole, I mean, your resume is like kind of a snapshot of your life,
Right.
right?
Right.
So they always had questions on, what should I do next? What do you think? Or either I would read the whole resume, I look at it, and I'd say, is this really what you want to do? Do you want to continue in this area, or do you want to do something else? And they would say they want to do something else. So inadvertently, I was kind of getting into coaching while I was
Mhm.
doing that.
Mhm.
And
Mhm.
coaching people on their resumes was a part of my business too. I mean, so many people after class were coming up saying, "Hey, can you help me? Can you help me?" So I ended up doing that piece of coaching for resumes. And then I figured out really my sweet spot was just doing a little bit of life coaching mixed with, or personal development, should I say. So those two together, like coaching for life, coaching for personal development, and then it bleeds over into the professional, because you don't
Yeah.
want your life to be one way and then your professional life is all jacked up, or vice versa.
Right.
So
Right.
that's what happened. It ended up kind of going together, and that's how I ended up coaching, folks that are in transition.
Right.
One other thing I'll say is this: you said, did I have anything in my background or obstacles? And yes, I definitely did. There was more than a couple of points where I've had to transition. So I've transitioned from, working in a sales environment, and I'm going and I'm making sales calls all day and things of that nature, or going around to different clients, into human resources, where it's more of the client is more inside the company already.
Right.
So
Right.
that's a career change that I had to make, and a transition I had to make. And I wish I would have had some type of coach or somebody to kind of help me out during that time.
Right.
I did not.
Right.
So I just had to figure it out. And then also, when I went from working in human resources to also like running my own business and entrepreneurship and those types of things, it was a transition again, because it's one thing when you're in an office 9 to 5, somebody's telling you what to
Mhm.
do or what you need to
Mhm.
get done. But when you are in your own business, you have to start to figure out, well, what is it that I need to do?
Mhm.
So those types of things definitely helped me to figure out, number one, being in HR, helped me to figure out how to coach others in a way that they can actually see themselves. And
Mhm.
because you're the one making the changes, right? You're not,
Right.
it's not that I'm going to make the change for the person has to make the change. And being able to do that in HR was helpful, but being able to do it on the outside, I'm able to kind of talk how I really talk and say, you don't want to do that. You don't want to
Right.
do that. What do you really
Right.
want to do? Or
Right.
ask people to think in another way. So it's nice to have the freedom of that in my company.
Yeah, that is nice. And it's nice to have all that experience too, right? Because you had to deal with a lot of personalities and
Mhm.
deal and like oh, you also have to have conflict resolution when you're in HR. You
Oh
also have to,
yes.
you have to know how to be a mediator, you have to know how to be a peacemaker. That's really good because it also says to me, somebody, because I have a lot of friends who are in HR as well, that they have to be good listeners too, because they have to hear the true issue, not the issue people are spewing out, but the actual real issue, right? So what you're saying, right, and it makes sense to me, is that a lot of the experiences that you've had in your life, you've used it to culminate into your coaching program that you're doing now, right?
That's exactly right. And
Mm-hmm.
that listening piece that you just said, I cannot say how much value it is in listening. A lot of times people listen to see what they're going to say next, or
Mm-hmm.
listen and start forming an opinion about who you are and what you're about.
Mm-hmm.
And when you're coaching, a lot of times you can't do that, because first of all, you don't know the state that the person's coming from. Second of
Right.
all, you don't know what all they're seeking to do until they tell you. So that listening portion, and then also on the client end, and what I help women to do is to start to get a little bit more clear on their voice. What is it that they actually want? I think a lot of
Right.
us run around here and we're so freaking busy doing some of everything. We're doing this, we're doing that, we're over here, we're over there. And at the end of the day, if you're exhausted, and if you haven't really done what it is you wanted to do, and if you don't even know what that is, then
Right.
that's a starting point, right? That's a
Mhm,
starting point.
mhm,
And I
mhm,
find that a lot of people find themselves kind of wrapped up in that.
mhm,
I'm super busy, but I'm not doing anything I really want to do.
mhm.
And that's a problem. You want to make sure that you are enjoying this life. It's not
Yeah.
just about, I got to pay these bills, or it's not just about the, blah, blah, blah with the kids. I mean, those are all important things. But if you're not enjoying it, then, kind of what are you here for? Right.
Right, right. You know what though, Chauncey, I think it's super important to anyway, it was important in my life, I'll speak for myself, to have a
Mhm.
coach, right? It was important
Yes.
because for the first time I realized the value of investing in myself, right?
Hmm.
When I was like I'm 50 now, but like in my 40s I started to invest little by little in myself. Now I've invested out of thousands of dollars in myself. Meaning in my thought process and my coaching programs and development work and all, the whole thing. Why? Because I realized that those are things, those are skill sets and commodities that nobody can steal from me. That
Yes.
is in me. That's now in me. Now it's my knowledge, right? Now it's something that I have. So
Hmm.
as I move forward or move on, I'm going to be able to grab that knowledge and still build something,
That's
right?
right. That's right.
So
And
yeah.
that's pretty much the same as me. So same thing. I invested in, and I hadn't even really heard of the term investing in yourself. I thought
Mhm.
that, oh, you just go to certain places and, oh, I'll take this course and so on and so forth. But for the first time, when I did get a coach, for the first time, I mean, that exposed me to a whole new world of things and people and possibilities that I had no idea, even
Right,
existed. So, I wouldn't necessarily say that any one coach that I've had is the end all be all, but I
right.
think it's a combination of the experiences that you have with those coaches that you pick out, and the mindset shifts that occur with those
Yeah,
coaches that enable you to kind of move forward. So,
yeah, I
coaching
agree.
is something that's super important, and I
Right.
say specifically mindset coaches, which I do consider myself a mindset coach, because without the mindset being right, you're not going anywhere. You're
You're
not
not
going.
going anywhere. No, that's 100%. That's 100%. And I say that because I know that you have the defining destiny coaching is what you do, and I know you have programs and stuff like that. And I want, those who are listening to realize that a lot of us go through a lot of transition like you went through a few transitions. I've been through a few transitions, and
Mhm.
it's okay to transition. And I feel like it's okay because I feel that that is where you will grow and expand. But I also feel, I will do that with a caveat, that you need a coach or someone who's going to help you shift your perspective sometimes
Yeah,
too, because you'll keep looking for the same job because it's the skill that you have.
that's right.
And you think that changing that job is going to make you happy, but maybe you're not even congruent or aligned with your calling. And then you're in another job doing the same thing and
That's right.
hating that too, right? So,
Right.
Chauncey, I want you to talk to me a little bit about what you do. Like what is, your program about, or how are you guiding women through your program? What are they looking for when they come to Chauncey?
So my program is called the Light Mastermind, and really, what I believe a lot of women need, especially women of color, I believe that we need support first and foremost. I
Mm,
mean, when you think about America and historically, marginalized communities, and just some of the things and the almost the preset mindsets, I want to say,
mhm.
that have come about. A lot of times you kind of take that into your being and you don't even know that you're thinking that way. So for example, a lot of the jobs that I've been in, even though they have been jobs working with executives and things of that nature, a lot of times you don't realize that, hey, wait a minute, guys, I'm getting the bigger end of the workload. And it's every time that I'm in a place, it's not just because I'm so good. I am pretty good at what I do. However, it's because
Right.
when we kind of look at things, we notice that the maybe the folks that are women or the folks that are people of color are getting the bigger end of the workload. So yes, of course, you can always speak up and change things that way. However, for myself, I noticed that when that started happening, I noticed that I didn't exactly even know what I wanted to do next. So
Mhm.
one of the things that I help people to do is what I've gone through myself. I start to ask myself or ask that client, hey, what is it that you really want to do? Is there something that if you don't have to worry about time or money or anything else, you would do this? And that really opens up a conversation.
Right.
Sometimes you say, I don't know what I do. I have no idea. And that's even more of a conversation.
Yeah.
Um, so really starting to kind of self-identify and understand yourself more, where you're headed, what you want to be doing. If you have no idea, that's fine. That's a good starting point. And starting to notice some of your likes and your dislikes, even on the job that you have now.
Mhm.
Sometimes it may not be a totally new job transition. It may be, hey, I'm all work and I'm not having fun in my personal life.
I
Or
love
it
that.
could
Yeah.
be, I only go on vacation, like I only have a good time per se when I'm on vacation. So now I'm going on 50 vacations trying to get away from regular life. And
Right.
it's like, how can we kind of merge the two so you got good, your good professional career, a life that you like and love professionally, but then also personally, how can you figure out, what are the things that you love to do? What gives you joy?
I
Just,
love that.
day by day. Because if you're starving either side, then you kind of go about um, feeling like you're off balance and you're basically running away from things. And that's what a lot
Mhm.
of folks do. That's what I did. It's just kind of
Yeah.
run
A
away
lot of
from,
us.
yeah, you kind of run away from what it is. You do your responsibilities, but you're not really into what you're doing. So
Right.
that's what my mastermind does, is providing comfort for where you're at. First off, and encouragement and support, but then also it starts to kind of dial back the layers with you and say, hey, what are some things that I really like? What are some things that I love? What are some things I want to change? And most importantly, what are some things that I feel like God has predestined me to do? And things that I may kind of throw off and say, well, this isn't really a big deal. But
Mhm.
everybody
Mhm.
else is like, oh my God, I'm so, you're so this, you're such a good listener. You're so easy to talk to.
Right.
Or oh my God, girl, this cake is the bomb. You could really bake, those things. When you start picking up on those things, that's your light. When I say the light mastermind, it's picking
Mhm.
up on your light and how you can do that, and not only in service to yourself, but in service to the world.
Yeah, I love that. I love that. I love that. And here's a couple things I picked up on that really perked my ears up. I love that you said that, it doesn't mean that you have to transition completely from your job. It could mean that it's just something that you need to transition in your mind shift, right? And I love that because I think a lot of people get really scared because they think, coaching is like, oh, we're going to just make you change your whole job and leave and you're going to go start a whole new thing. And that's not at all what this is. This is literally about you growing and transitioning. Now, there are some coaching programs out there that will help you completely shift your whole
Yes.
life if that's what you want to do. But I think that it makes more sense. Like I always tell the people who come to me, I'm always like, not for one moment am I going to tell you to leave your job because
Mhm.
you got to go chase this passion. I need you to do both until you realize what it is you really want to do and you're ready to go full on, you
Absolutely.
know? Yeah,
Absolutely.
because I think it's easy for people to say, just quit your job and do what you love. And
Yeah. Gotta,
yeah,
you gotta
but
get
without a plan, you in trouble. Okay.
you in trouble, and you have to
Yes.
figure out what it is that you want to do. For me,
Yeah.
transitioning from my job, it was kind of something where, the environment was such where it was like,
Right.
okay, there's nothing I can do. I have to go. There's no way that I can bring in this new thing with
Right.
this old thing that is just constantly there. And it's not even me, it's all the folks. And you can only block it out. I mean, I was working in a conference room by myself, and the mayhem still continue. You would think this was during COVID. You would
Right.
think
Oh,
that that would kind of block things out and you're able to, no, people, when you are either good at what you do or when you are a problem solver, especially if you're in HR, folks will come and find you. So
yeah.
they were coming to find me pretty much
Right.
the
Right.
entire day. So if you don't have peace where you are, then yeah, it might be time for you to move on. And
Yeah.
I just think it pushed me further into my destiny, which is why my company is called Defining Destiny. I mean, that's not
Yeah.
something that I just came up with. That was, what God gave me, because I kind of feel like define destiny has already been defined. I kind of feel like we're living this life backwards, meaning that
Mm,
everything that we are going to get into is out there. It's just up to us to kind of pull it down, pull it down, pull it down.
got it.
So
Got it. So you're starting from like the vision, working back to get to that vision, right?
exactly,
Yeah, I
exactly.
get
And,
that. I get that.
kind of, re-identifying like yourself. I think a lot of times when we get out here into the world and we have all these life experiences, all of a sudden, things just get a little, not even a little hectic, a lot hectic,
Yeah.
especially when you get married, when you have kids. And so your life can really feel like it's a little bit of everywhere, especially for women,
Mhm, mhm,
because
mhm.
we're the glue, we're the
Right,
glue.
right,
We hold everything together. So
right.
you sometimes can kind of get far away from what it is that you feel like your purpose to do.
Mhm.
And that's what my program does, is dialing you back into yourself, dialing you back into your wants and your needs. Because honestly, if we don't care for ourselves first, it's almost like putting on your own oxygen first. If we don't care for ourselves in a way that lights us up, it's hard for us to do anything for anybody else, because sometimes we start to kind of drag through it, and that's not what this is about.
Yeah, yeah. I love that. I want the women who are listening to hear your heart on this too, because what I hear is that you really want these women to find their destiny and their calling and what they are aligned to do so that their lives and everything are congruent to who they are as a person. I think that a lot of the times that that we struggle the way we do is because we're not congruent. We're just doing a job because we get paid, and it's not who we really authentically are or want to be. And
Yes.
that's and so, and like you said before, you said sometimes people just don't know what that is. But I think it only takes a little bit of coaxing and a little bit of speaking and a little bit of
Mhm.
pulling out so that before you know it, you have something on the table and go,
That's right.
voila, you didn't even know
Mhm.
that you wanted to do this, right? And another
And
thing I
it's
wanted
that.
to, I'm sorry, go ahead.
I was just gonna say, it's that step. You hit on something really big right there. A lot of times people are afraid to even
Hmm.
say that out loud to themselves or
Hmm.
to other people,
Hmm.
saying, I don't know. They feel like I don't know is, a step into the unknown, and that's scary and that doesn't feel good.
Right,
But it can be sometimes, I think, the most freeing to know that, no, I don't know right now, but hey, let me go find out. So,
right,
just
right.
encouragement to your folks, anybody who's saying, what am I doing? Oh my gosh, this is crazy. No, it's not crazy. You're just in transition, and we've all been through it.
Yeah, yeah. And the thing I wanted to add to that is, and you'll probably be in transition as you're in transition.
Yes, ma'am.
Because yeah,
Transition to the
right?
transition to the
Because you know
transition.
what it is too is like I've
Mhm.
I've realized that I absolutely love coaching, but I also absolutely love being a chef, right?
Yes,
And before that, I absolutely love being in medical. Why do I say that? They're all in service of people, all of them. So I
that's right.
know that one of my values is to serve, right?
Hmm.
But what I wanted to say is I don't want you guys to be afraid whoever's listening. If Chauncey is hitting it on the head for you and you're like, "Oh my gosh, I really love that she is helping women of color, that she's really trying to help me define my destiny, that she really wants to pull out of me what I can't seem to seek or find or know how to define." I
Hmm.
think Chauncey is the person for you. I also want you to come at it also knowing that you may discover something in you that you love and do it, and then discover something else that you love and
Absolutely.
another thing that you love, and that is okay. I think people need to stop being afraid. It's not a one and done, or it's not a black and white. You are
Yeah.
multifaceted and
Yes.
full of vibrant color and communication styles and thought processes and
Yes.
neurons, and you know what I'm saying. I think people need to stop having everything black and white. It's like what we're doing now with politics, right? Tomorrow's is
Hmm.
voting, or whenever this comes out. Voting just happened recently, and it was like you're either
Hmm.
this or that. You're either black or you're white, or you're either up or you're
No,
down. And it's like, no,
no.
no, no. We are human beings with multi different dimensions. And I
So
love
much.
that, Chauncey. I love
So
that. I
much.
love that you're doing that. Yeah.
But I mean, if you think about it from a God standpoint and a creative standpoint, God is magnificently vibrant in all of his different colors and all of. I mean, look at the world,
Mhm.
look at the ocean,
Mhm.
look at the
Mhm.
sun. I mean, like who comes up with that? Except
Right.
for him. Yeah,
Right.
not me.
Right.
So I'm
If
just
it
saying,
was
like,
us, he'd probably be dark outside or something, right?
oh, I'm like, it's raining all the time. What y'all gonna do? I'm God. but
Right.
but at the end of the day, it's almost like if we put limits on ourselves, we're putting limits on him. That's
Yeah.
crazy. There's no way
Yeah.
that you can put limits on somebody who, the ocean depth. I mean, come on. It has no,
Right.
no, no, way to tell, or how hot the
Yeah.
sun is, or I mean, I'm just using physical things, but even our
Right.
emotions,
Right.
how we're put together
Right.
physically. So there's no way in the world that we would just be one thing and serve one purpose, because of the
Right.
fact that we were created by somebody who was multifaceted and creative. So
Right.
we're creative, even if we don't feel, because a lot of women say, I'm not creative, I don't know, I only think one way, this is it. And I'm like, okay, but there's something that you do. There's a gift that you have, and
Mhm.
gifts
Mhm.
that
Mhm.
only you can do in the world,
Mhm.
and only you can do it the way that you do it.
Mhm.
So whenever you think about comparison and people saying, well, we talk a lot about social media and the Facebook reel, and people, you just see the highlights of folks' lives, and oh, look at this person
Right.
bought a big house. Oh, look at this person, they were able to have 50 kids, and maybe you were able to, not able to have any kids, or whatever. And like when we see that highlight reel, it's like, okay, that's their highlight reel. I'm
Right.
promise you, you have the same thing. You're just not putting that on Facebook, and you don't have to, but
Right.
you have a lot of multifaceted gifts, and you have a lot of things that you could do to bring that out. But you actually have to take a step out on faith, and you actually have to take a step to understand what it is that he's put in you. A lot of times we stop ourselves because we're scared of it. It's unknown. It doesn't feel good not to know. I'm one of those people that love.
Mhm.
Neena knows I love to know. I need to know what's the first step. What's this?
Right.
But
Right.
sometimes you're not going to know all the steps.
Right.
Sometimes the first step is the first step, and the second step will only appear after you take the first step.
That's
So
right. That's right. That's so good. And that's what I want people to do with you, Chauncey. I want them to take the first step because I think,
Mhm.
no, I know that what you have here is a very, very impactful thing because you're not talking about, just make a recipe and you're done. You're talking about life transformation. You're talking about alignment. You're talking about God's calling on your life. You're talking about a lot of beautiful things that will help people kind of not kind of that will help people live
Yeah,
according to what they really feel in their heart, what they're envisioning, how they want to pull that out, right? And that's why we need coaches like you out here because there's a lot of women out here who are just, as you said, looking at other people's highlight reels. And let me tell you, most of them are fake to begin with,
fake,
right?
fake,
So
fake.
most of the reels are fake. Yeah, right? Some of them are real, but most of them are fake because they're also trying to find what they want. They're also trying to live a life or show a life that they wish they had. And that's just facts. That's just
That's
facts.
absolutely.
Yeah.
And if you
Yeah.
try to validate yourself through somebody else's, for these folks that are showing the highlight reels, you will never truly um, get satisfaction from other people's validation,
That's right.
because, their likes and loves and things like that, that could go out the window tomorrow. Somebody
Mm-hmm.
could say,
Mm-hmm.
okay, unfriend or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
So, people's validation, you have to know what it is you want to do. And
So
even,
good.
give this advice to folks that are picking out coaches or picking out therapists or any of that nature. You have to be kind of strong and solid in who you are, and even if you don't know what your vision is, you have to know that you're capable. I
Mm-hmm.
ran into an issue not too long ago with someone. What they were saying and what I was saying were two totally different things, and they were trying to kind of coach me, and I'm like, what you're saying isn't correct. And you have to be super strong in knowing yourself and knowing what you're capable of, or else you'll end up with a bunch of crap. So you can kind of live your life by the highlight reel of somebody else and say, okay, well, I'm thinking this is what I should be doing. Or you can give
Right.
yourself and say, you know what, whatever they're doing is on them, this is on me, and this is how I'm going to live this life. I'm going to do this like this, regardless to who
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
gives a flip or not. Like, this is me, this is what I do. So,
Right, right. Yeah, and I
just
think
that
all of
thought.
us need to get there though, Chauncey, because even I in the beginning when I started to get into going into like Instagram and stuff, I've never really been a big social media person, but within
Hmm.
the last 10 years, I guess I've gotten a little bit more into it, and especially with my coaching growing and stuff like that in my podcast, so I wanted to put out the content, right? And
Hmm.
I realized that I was doing that too. I was joining every mastermind, I was joining every class. Everybody had the solution to my problem. It's kind of like weight loss, right? Everybody has the magic pill. The
Oh,
magic
yes.
pill, everybody has one. And I realized that you know what? You're absolutely right. You need to know you too. And sometimes you don't know you. And that's why you need a
Hmm.
coach, because you need somebody who's gonna maybe discover something about you that is so inside that you did not even know was there. And
Yeah.
that's why it's important to invest in yourself. I cannot stress that enough, especially
Yes.
from somebody like me who's had very bad poor a poverty mentality for most of my life, and I
Hmm.
broke that many years ago. How did I break that? By investing in me. Once I started to invest in me, that's it, everything went and it took off, right? So you have to invest in you, Chauncey. I strongly agree, strongly. I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, no, that's fine.
Yeah,
I'm vibing off what you're saying. One thing that I'll also say to your listeners too, be careful to, I would say, try to enroll in something that's mindset first. And I don't say that just because I'm a mindset coach. I'm saying that from the
yeah,
experience of,
yeah.
I also got coaches and I looked at
Mm-hmm,
the highlight
mm-hmm,
reel, right? I looked at what
mm-hmm.
this person was doing. I looked at, how much they were allegedly bringing in. And I was saying, oh yeah, teach me to do the same thing. What
Mm-hmm.
you will notice is if you don't start to kind of tap in and see which way you really want to go, and that's why I say you have to strengthen your mindset first so that you do start to understand what your vision is. People will take you for a ride, man. I mean,
Yes,
like,
they will.
they will act like they can tell you, oh yeah, you need to be doing this, you need to be doing that. I had one coach tell me the way to, I just needed to be on social media, but she was never able to really tell me any type of business strategy. So that's one of the reasons why I was like, well, hold on, because I noticed what you're saying, and it's not equating to any type of anything. I mean, I've had like business training too, but nothing she was saying was equating to any type of dollars.
Right,
So I'm just
right.
saying, be careful. People, I mean, there's network marketing, there's real estate, there's this, there's that. And you're not trying to get involved in everything. That's why I say kind of enroll in something that will get your mindset correct first,
Yep.
so that you don't get taken for the ride. Because, I mean, you can get taken for the ride in the amount of thousands of dollars. And I'm not going to tell you,
Thousands.
I'm not going to sit here and tell you that I also didn't, look at the same thing and say, okay, what you find is that these folks, they may say that they know how to teach you, but what can happen is they'll get you in there and you may not be able to learn. They may not have a single lesson or anything really written out,
Mhm.
and I would say definitely ask questions about how they get you to that point. They'll say they're
Yeah.
going to get you from point A to point B, but then you find out there's really no game plan on how to get you to point A
Mhm.
to point B.
Mhm.
So
Mhm.
that's why I say
No,
mindset
that's
first,
good.
so you're
Yep.
investing in what it is that you actually need
That's so
versus
good.
I'm going to invest in the endpoint of B, and then you're not able to get there because they have no freaking clue how to tell you. And ask me
Right.
how I know, because I did it. So
Yeah.
I don't
No,
want
I
you
did it
guys to
too.
do
I did
that.
it too. I spent thousands of dollars on somebody who promised me something and did not deliver. Did
Absolutely.
not. And and I still like the person. I kind of just keep arm's distance, but
Same.
I was a little hurt by that. And that's
Hmm.
why, like you, I decided to have a coaching program where women know they can be safe and
Hmm.
that I really will invest my time in them and that I love them and that I stick with them. You know what
Because
I'm
you want
saying?
not to do for your
Right,
own coaching
right,
program.
right. And
And
that's
same with
why I
me.
said nothing, if anything, the thousands of dollars I spent on that was worth learning that lesson. Was worth it
Absolutely.
because then now I know not to do that ever to a woman that is investing in me.
Right.
So, Chauncey, I know that you're an amazing human. I love you very much and so I know that.
Very
But I
much.
want to make sure that people know how to reach out to you and really I know you give a free consultation call, right?
I do. I do.
Yeah. Yeah, so
So
give us the info of, like, how people can support you and, work with you, see what you're doing, all that great stuff.
So I'm on all social media, but if you want to just look at Facebook or Instagram, Chauncey Pelzer on Facebook. And so I know my name is a little strange or whatever. I'm married into that name, but it's Pelzer. And so then also my page on Facebook is at defining my destiny. So you can find me there. And then also on Instagram, I'm at Chauncey Pelzer, and you can find me there as well. So DM me.
Awesome.
Let me know you heard this episode. Let me know if anything, kind of resonated with you. And I'm always
Yeah.
happy to talk to folks, because I mean, every day's a new day. I feel like every day is a new possibility. So,
Yeah,
I
it
really
sure
think
is.
embrace that.
Yeah, thank you so much. And thank you so much for being on here and sharing all of this beautiful wisdom. I love that you came on. I love, I love where you're going. I love your heart. I love the way you wanted to really connect with women. And the most thing I got out of this is your passion to helping women align themselves to who they truly are. And I think that is such a gift.
Thank
Yeah.
you. Thank you for even
Thank you.
having me on, and thank you for allowing me to, speak to your folks, because I feel like that's so important, for you to
Yeah.
be able to align yourself and then just really give it all you got. I think that's what everybody's looking to
Hmm.
do,
Hmm.
but you're losing steam because you're not aiming yourself towards the right way. So, get yourself
Yeah.
some energy, get yourself on track.
Yeah, that's it. Get yourself on track, people. You
That's
heard it
right.
here. Thank you, Chauncey, so much. And guys, thank you
Thank
so
you,
much
Nick.
for listening and watching and being a part of this amazing show. Make sure that you like, share, subscribe, all that great stuff. I'm going to make sure to list all of Chauncey's information below so that you can go ahead and contact her and speak with her and, find if you're a good match to work with her. I feel like anybody who is developing a program and wanting to align you to the purpose and calling of your life, that is worth looking into. So I will make sure to list all of her information. I love you guys so much. This is Neena Perez, Straight Talk, No Sugar Added. Until next time.